Hello, everybody. I would like to take this opportunity to wish all of you a very happy new year and hopes for a prosperous and healthy 2024. I am certainly not looking to be a one-topic talking head. However, I had a great vacation over this last week and had a very interesting experience on my trip to the Caribbean that I felt I had to share. And maybe we could attempt to draw some conclusions. But my wife and I walked into a jewelry store that will remain unnamed, and we're mystery shopping jewelry for the sport. I'm sure you could all relate. So we started looking at diamond bracelets and were shown a natural diamond bracelet for $34,000. We were then told that if we were the kind of people who don't like to needlessly spend money, that here is a lab-grown bracelet which actually looks better than the natural one for a mere $14,000. He then proceeded to tell us how lab-grown diamonds have appreciated by over 4,000% in the last number of years. 4,000% in the last number of years. I told him that I thought that I read somewhere that they actually went down in price, upon which he responded, No, you must be referring to lab-created diamonds, not lab-grown diamonds. So I just nodded knowingly as if that made sense. He then showed us with a diamond tester how they are both exactly the same thing. Look, beep, beep. He probed with a diamond tester and showed me that they were the same exact thing. I proceeded to then ask how they can be told apart. He told me that no one could tell them except with a certificate from a laboratory. I asked him if he had any type of a machine that can tell them apart, and he said, no, only a certificate. I then pushed a little bit harder, and I asked him, well, what happens if I lose my certificate? Then maybe I could just put it on eBay and sell it as a natural and double my money. He told me that anybody on eBay would ask me for a certificate and would not buy it without a certificate. So I said, well, what if I lost it? He says, well, you'd have to go back to your jeweler and obtain a new certificate. As you can see, he was meticulously trained with certain talking points. And although I was going around in circles with him, there's no doubt that had I not been well versed in the topic, which I didn't disclose, that I would have likely come to the conclusion that natural is more expensive for no good reason. So might as well save the money and buy a lab-grown diamond. I'm not a sucker. So it was actually puzzling to me, as this jeweler had a shop full of natural diamonds. So why in the world would he want to position natural diamonds like this and undermine his inventory? But be that as it may, the obvious question is, how many experiences like this are being repeated throughout the country in different jewelry stores, day in and day out? And is it fair to say that the average consumer is still not educated enough to understand the fundamental difference, and as a result, getting taken advantage of when buying synthetic diamonds? If anyone has similar stories, I'd love to hear about them, because I will probably be compiling them for research and potentially to be used down the road for what I'm about to discuss next. So what substantive actions could or should be taken? I have said before, and I'll say it again, lab-grown diamonds are a beautiful product and have emerged as a product that has found their way into the jewelry market space. Likely better suited for fashion jewelry rather than fine jewelry, but as long as properly and correctly described, they will go wherever the clients wish them to go. Proper and correct disclosure of information is key. A synthetic diamond is simply not the same thing as a natural diamond. I'm afraid that the market, and I've said this, is still steeped in some sort of fraud. And when I say fraud, you could take that word many meanings. I don't only refer to the type that one goes to jail for. Yes, there is this go to jail fraud, like we all saw yesterday with the article about someone trying to pass off a 6-carat synthetic oval as a natural with a GIA natural inscription on the girdle, which is what we discussed last time. But there's also what I call social fraud as well as the gray area, like what happened to me at that store in the Caribbean. So how can this correctly be differentiated? How can this product fairly be bifurcated? Someone just told me yesterday about a process that seems not to be brand new, yet for some reason was never adopted as a mandatory part of the manufacture of synthetic diamonds. I don't claim to understand the science behind it, yet from understanding, a certain reagent is inserted into the lab-grown process that doesn't detract one iota from the finished synthetic diamond, but incorporating this into the process allows one later to shine a black light, a UV light, onto the diamond, and it will fluoresce pink, indicating that it is a man-made product. Why would something like this be objected to by the synthetic growers, if not to still allow the synthetic fraud to continue and propagate? If all synthetic sellers are not being disingenuous when saying that they wish for total honesty, transparency, and representation of their product, why would there be, or should there be, any objection to requiring that the product have a built-in safety to assure non-mixing and incorrect representation? This would also make it very easy for customs agents at the borders to detect and differentiate labs from natural. This seems to be a no-brainer to me, similar to when the law started requiring full disclosure of all ingredients in foods or calorie counts. Why should a person not have a simple way of determining a synthetic product from a natural one? You get the idea. Hopefully, this will spur conversation and further discussions. I know I will be working on this, and any input is always welcome.